Hey guys, welcome to motherfucking Uninfluenced. And it looks like I'm not paying attention because I'm not.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, I
Don't
am.
let him fool you.
I am. I'm sitting here doing hood rat things with my friends. So today we're going to get into, I got 4 pretty good topics. Trying to decide, should we go hard first and then ease into some stuff like news, or ease into it? What do you want to do?
I'd ease into it, spit on it first and ease into it.
Yeah, I'm a jam it in type of motherfucker. Because this shit's about me, not her. So it was brought to my attention, car meet etiquette. And we do.
Yeah, we talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, we do quite a bit of car meets. And so car meet etiquette, someone asked. So I made it, they asked about meet, but I'm going to say shows and meets. They're the same thing.
Yeah.
Essentially, the shows, some of the cars have more money in them than these meet cars do. Meet, M-E-E-T, not, meet. But etiquette's the same for both, in my opinion. If I'm looking at, we'll just say I don't know you and I come up to look at your car, and I'm like, oh man, this is a nice car. I'm not going to rub on your car. I'm not going to touch it. I'm not going to sit there and see if that's a real stripe, with my finger.
Yeah.
I'm not going to try to sit in it. I tend not to try to say, hey, this is a piece of shit. Just out of respect to me, I've been around cars so long, I can see a junky ass car and then look at the work and respect the work that goes into it. Plus I've been to where I'm saving everything to get this next part. So, I try not to ever say this is a piece of shit. Respect someone's car, respect the people around you. And to me, one huge thing, whether you're at a meet or a car show, is if you see a kid and you're one of these people who claim, I'm here to bring up the next generation, and you see a kid and the kid's like, can I take a picture? And you're like, no. Or can I sit in your car? No. Well, you just fucked that kid's whole fucking day up and all that. I think both of us do a pretty good job of, if we see a kid wanting something, open the doors and let them in. And look, that's the one thing I try not to bitch about. If a kid touches my car, it's not as big of a deal. But as a parent of a kid, try to hold your kid from rubbing on people's shit. Be respectful. I mean, it's common sense. If you wouldn't do that shit in your house, don't go fucking do it.
Yeah.
Or if you wouldn't do it at your parents' house, I'd say that. 'Cause some people, I wouldn't want their house to come to my fucking car.
Yeah.
With that said, I'm sorry about the dog hair in my fucking car when I gave it to you.
Yeah, no, I'm not used to having dog hair in the car, so
it's probably bad for you with your allergies, dog allergies.
Terrible. So I guess is the question, just generally speaking, what do you?
I took a picture of it, and it was car meet etiquette is all he was asking about. Is what do we think of car meet etiquette?
Do you mind if I chime in real quick?
God, yes. I wish you would. I thought you'd never ask. One
of the coolest feelings for me is whenever someone will come up and take a picture of the bike that I have. Mm-hmm. And I've always been, obviously I'm always having my camera, and I never really had, until I got my Kawasaki, I never had anything that people would come up to and take pictures of. Yeah. There's never really been that kind of that dopamine hit. Mm-hmm. But, if someone were to come up to me, it hasn't happened yet, I'm sure it will. If someone were to come up to me and said, yeah, your bike's a fucking piece of shit, it would definitely hurt, because I know how long I saved for that. I know how long, the emotion that I've invested in the bike. So I definitely understand. It's like, hey, if someone walks up to you and says, yeah, your fucking thing's a piece of shit, that's going to hurt.
What are the 2 key components for canine success? That's effective training and proper nutrition. Fueled by Team Dog brings those 2 components to your family and best friend. The perfect nutritional balance that results in a higher mental acuity, energy, overall vitality, and even an improved appearance. Every product you will find in my company's store was born from the battlefield and not from the boardroom. Let my life's work help you become your dog's hero.
Yeah.
In general, I don't think most people do that. One thing he brought up was the burning out and the revving up your engines. I do find that fucking annoying. When you're leaving a car meet or coming in. Now, if the promoter, which I've had that happen before, where they're like, hey, man, you get a new exhaust, they're like, hit it real quick. then I do it, but I shut it down real quick. I don't keep jumping in the car, revving the motherfucker up, doing shit like that.
Yeah.
For the most part, though, I try not to rev up. Burnouts, I'm not going to lie, as a younger guy, because I've been doing this shit since I was 17. I was that asshole who would do a burnout at a car show just for fun. And as an adult, it was stupid, and I shouldn't have ever done it because it fucks up the meets. Fucks up the car shows, the meets, everything. Be respectful.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, really with everything, I think, to me, it should serve as common sense to not touch people's shit. Like, I can't believe that even needs to be said, really. Or I don't think that it would, but maybe it does. I don't mind people leaning over or taking pictures or whatever. On the same token, for the people that bring their vehicles or bikes or whatever to car meets, realize that there's going to be people there that want to look at them. So if agreed, I don't think you should be rubbing on it or fucking touching it or whatever. But if somebody wants to kind of lean in and look through the window or take close up pictures of shit or whatever, that's why you bring them there. So to me that makes sense. But on the talking trash thing too, again, like my take is that's a dick thing to do. Even if you think something's a total piece of shit, like just keep it to yourself. Which like I've never looked at anything and been like, wow, that thing's a real piece of shit. But either way, I don't think you should talk shit about it. And I think that goes with, again, kind of without saying, but maybe not. Burnouts and stuff do piss me off. Like and I think as like an outsider's perspective, not that I have one, but thinking of it like from, especially when you go to like the restaurant ones, or if it's, there's a lot of businesses around there that people are coming and going that have nothing to do with the car show. To me, all that does is really leave a bad taste in everybody else's mouth, and I think especially like when people are leaving and they gun it along whatever frontage road or whatever that the meet is alongside, it just makes the whole culture kind of look like a bunch of assholes. So I'm always very particular about not doing that. I don't rev it. I don't burn out. I don't do any of that shit. Coming in, kind of similarly, if it's a V12 that sounds great and you pop it once, okay. But even that though too, like if everybody does that, then same kind of thing is that the businesses are going to be like, Jesus Christ, the fuck's wrong with you idiots? It's like if one guy does it, then every guy thinks they can do it, and next thing you know, you have 350 cars fucking revving it when they're pulling in, and again, it just makes the entire outfit look like a bunch of amateur hour fucking kids that are acting like total dipshits, So that's kind of my take on it. But
hell, one of my favorite meets was the ones we were doing in them parking garages on the roofs.
Yeah.
And the reason all those are gone is because the dipshit's going down. Yeah. And I'll say it, you Lambros are the motherfuckers them and the Hellcats, I would say, caused most of it. They think they have to rev their soul performance up like ain't nobody ever fucking heard your raggedy ass car on YouTube before. Yeah. Shut up. Yeah. You're going to be on the highway. Yeah. You know what I mean? Motorcycles the same way, but yeah, they ruined. I think those were some of our best meets to go to. Yeah. Because, for instance, hell, we got a good group of dudes together, and we all went and ate fucking lunch after the meet, left our cars there, fucking went, walked down, hung out, fucking came back. Nobody was fucking with our shit. Yeah. We only got to do that 2 or 3 times. And then, again, these fucking Lamborghinis with their fucking Flowmaster Soul Performance fucking. By the way, Soul Performance, if y'all want to sponsor us, reach out.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll be crazy to do it.
Yeah. But, I mean, seriously, they're revving up, and it's not just Soul Performance. I mean, but you're just revving up acting like a fucking total jackass, and it's not cool. And y'all see what I did there. I totally contradicted calling something a piece of shit, and then I just called it an exhaust a piece of shit. But in all seriousness, that is a decent product, but don't rev up. You don't have to do that. It's ridiculous. Yeah. I mean, I don't do that shit at my house.
No, I mean, again, it's like, I don't know why people feel the need to do that shit, I don't get it. I've not done it. I never do it. I just don't understand the logic behind it. But one thing I didn't mention, I guess, with the little kids stuff, if I see younger kids, getting all excited or wanting their picture taken with the car, I always try to make an effort to, go over there and say, hey, do you want to get in it? Do you want to sit in it? Or, whatever. Because I think that goes a long way with kids. I was never a car guy growing up, so I can't speak on that from experience. But obviously, if they're there and they care, and you can see how excited they get if you let them sit in it, and I think that's pretty cool. What is funny, sometimes the parents are like, fuck no, he can't sit in it. They're like, get the fuck away from that car. Yeah. They won't even let their own kids fucking sit in it. Like, no, I'm not risking him fucking something up.
Yeah.
Which is pretty funny. But anyway.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm the same way. If any kid wants to sit in the car, come on. Hell, I've taken kids for rides in the car just because they're having a blast, and they may never experience that. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, etiquette. I mean, to me, the car meet etiquette's common sense.
Yeah.
It's like when I leave your house at times, there are times I've got out on the main road and I've gunned it and I'm like, shit, that's an asshole move. And I let off real quick. And it's with anybody's house.
I mean, to me, out on the main road is fair game, honestly, because there's cars and bikes and shit that all goddamn day long fly past there, with reckless fucking abandon. So, I mean, to me,
sometimes it's me, and I apologize.
Yeah.
I take the long way to the studio.
Yeah, I mean, you can hear people all over the place fucking hitting it. You hear exhaust notes fucking nonstop. But
yeah, it was also brought up to me. You got anything else on car meet etiquette, Zohan?
No.
Good.
No, not really.
It was also brought up to me, value or loss on putting miles on a supercar versus a regular car. Believe it or not, it matters. And we are guilty. We drive the shit out of our cars and put miles on them. But at the same token, we don't daily drive the cars. I'd say we still drive them more than most, and we drive them harder than most. But if you put 10,000 miles on a 720S, a Pista, a 911, a Lamborghini Huracan, I would honestly say the Huracans and Audis stand a better chance, and the Porsches stand a better chance of holding more value because of their known history of the motor than the Ferraris, because Ferraris are lower number built cars. The McLarens are, let's face it, McLarens. And then other supercars, you get into the GTRs and sports cars and all that, they start taking a hit with mileage. So a supercar versus a sports car, a supercar is going to take more of a hit than a regular sports car. I would say a Camaro, a Mustang, what are the good sports cars? I think even a Viper, well, I don't know, Vipers they're all over the place right now. It's another good sports car.
GTR maybe?
GTR, yeah, a GTR. I don't think they're taking as bad a hits with mileage as, say, a Ferrari, a McLaren,
yeah,
a GT3, a GT2 RS, the hypercars, all those. They take hits, and it's not, I would say every 10,000 miles you could lose, roughly 40 grand on a specialty car?
I mean, it's hard to say. The markets have been so crazy over the last 6-8 months that it's hard to even know what's what, and different models are affected or impacted differently too, like take the Pista as an example. It's gone up even with high mileage, there's less of a disparity now between, 1,000 miles and 10,000 miles on most of the Pistas that you see. They're all way more than what anybody paid for them.
Yeah.
So now whether or not the exact same spec would be more adversely affected with higher mileage, maybe it would. But there's so few of them and so few of them for sale that it kind of doesn't matter. I mean, I've seen, ones that have 9,000, 12,000. I've seen one with 23,000 miles on it that they were still asking like $520 for, so.
In this market, it's fucking hard to tell what everything's doing.
I mean, it's just everything's bouncing around so much. And again, I think it depends a lot on the inventory and availability, There's only a handful of Pistas for sale. There's only a handful of 911 Turbo S's for sale. There's only, there's like, if you look at Huracans though, fucking Huracans, there's 40 of them, or 60 of them. I mean, there's a shitload of them. If you just Google search Huracans for sale, R8s for sale, Pistas for sale, 720Ss for sale, like R8s and Huracans. There's actually more Huracans than there are R8s even.
Mm-hmm.
But even them are higher than you would think for what they are and what they were, paid for. I mean, really everything has gone up so much that I think mileage is affecting them less right this second than it historically does. But it's just fucking weird. I don't think it's gonna last. I mean, it can't. Like, it can't continue to go up and up and up. So
have you seen the SF90s are flooding the market right now?
I haven't. I mean, the last time I looked was maybe 2 weeks ago, and I mean, there was, I don't know, maybe 7 or 8 of them for sale, I think. But
I looked last night and there was 12.
Yeah, I mean,
I think there was more of those than 812 Superfast available.
Yeah, I don't doubt it. I mean, there's probably as many or more of those than there are Pistas available. Like,
yeah.
I mean, that's one car you can still order, whereas the 812s and the Pistas you can't. So
I think the 812 is going to be a collector one day.
Yeah.
I've watched it go up $100 grand. It's fucking depressing when you're like me that really wants one.
Yeah.
It's like, fuck.
Well, speaking of which, I mean, the 488 GTB, like, I've seen a number of those for 400.
Yeah, and I bought mine for 200.
I mean, like, yeah, I mean, I think I got mine for 260 and sold it for the same, because I only had it for a couple of weeks. But
he had it 2 hours.
But to see a year ago, a little over a year ago, because I've actually had the Pista a year today. So a little over a year ago, spending 200 to 260 on it, and now those cars are high threes, is fucking nuts. So yeah, it's just the whole market's fucking nuts right now. But I think it can't continue to go up, just like housing prices or anything else. Like that bubble is going to burst at some point. I don't know when, but I would suspect it's going to be sooner than later, because the cost of so many of them have gone up so much in such a short period of time that it can't have that much life left in it. But
yeah, we've watched it, like you said, almost a year of just climbing.
Yeah.
The good part is we've basically got free rental out of cars lately, and it's been cool. Again, I asked you guys to guess what I got recently, and for those of you that were smart enough to go watch Clint's, Can You Survive This podcast, you know what I got.
The gig is up.
Yeah. It's a 2021 GT 500. And it's going to change a lot of the way things are done here. For me, for a little while anyways, it's kind of making me go a different direction. I got the car kind of as fuck it. And I'm fucking falling in love with that fucking thing.
It's awesome.
It's not a Mustang. I mean, it's got a Mustang body on it, but it's not a normal Mustang.
It doesn't drive like a Mustang.
No. I mean, I haven't hit one person. In fact, at the grocery store, it don't steer towards people when they see them. It's totally safe. Now, realistically, I was talking to another guy, the guy at Tritech, and he was like, "So which one are we gonna PPF?" And I said, I think we're gonna PPF the GT 500, and I'm thinking of getting rid of the 720S. And he said, hold up. You're getting rid, and this guy owns a 720. He said, you're getting rid of a 720S and keeping a Mustang?
Yeah.
I was like, this car's different.
Has he driven one?
No, but he's going to when he has mine. So, man, take that bitch out for about 20, 30 minutes.
Yeah, it's awesome, man. It's a blast to drive.
Yeah, I wanted to hate it. I think I've told you that. I know I told my wife, I want to hate that car. And I think I said in the beginning of the year, when I go into every car, I'm going to go in disliking it. Mm-hmm. And so I kept to my word, and I went into this, and I was like, I don't like it. And the first night I didn't.
Yeah.
And now I catch myself, this morning I caught myself looking out the door window at it like, man, if I just do this and this, that thing's going to be badass.
Yeah.
And, so it's, the different direction is they're still a little higher than I feel they should be, but where they're at, I think they're priced right. Even with the ask people are asking over sticker, I think I think it's a worthy low six figure. I mean, under $100K car with low miles, anywhere from 90 to 100. I think it's a justified dollar for that car.
Yeah, I agree.
For what you get, bang for the buck. And what makes it real cool, and this might sound like a total asshole thing to say, but what we're used to spending on, say, an exhaust for the 720 is retail on a titanium exhaust setup is roughly anywhere from $7,000 to $12,000, and it can go up. For this Shelby to go headers back and do Borla attack, you're at $5,800. I mean, and that's nothing compared to the distance of pipe you're using. And some people are going to say, well, you're using stainless instead of titanium. Cool story, bro. The titanium's only like 6 foot on a fucking 720.
Is it even that much?
Nah, it's not much at all.
Yeah.
But the mod you can do to get the car to a 4.2 60 to 130, which is very possible on 93. Paying somebody to do it. I was doing this research today called Two Shops. Paying them to do that would cost you around $24,000. And that's you not touching it, just sending the car here and do my car with a warranty, boom, done. Mm-hmm. If you have some common sense and can work in the garage and get a buddy, you could save yourself probably $8,000 in labor and bullshit. So we'll just say a dummy number, $15,000 for a raw. You start with nothing, GT500. $15,000, you can make that thing go out and compete with supercars.
Yeah.
So you buy it at 95, you put 15 in it. Count that this isn't counting wheels and tires. You put 15 in it, you're at 110. You're going out competing with $300,000 cars.
Fuck, $500,000 cars.
Yeah. But those cars, to get to that 4.2, 4.5 level, they have to go spend more money.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you're going to spend a minimum of fucking $40,000, to get big bumps, 150, 200 horsepower bumps in any of those fucking Euro exotics. You're going to spend a minimum $50K, and in a lot of cases up in the six figures. Mm-hmm. Any of the big twin turbo kits, you're 6 figures and above. I mean, the UGR kits are for the stage 3 are like $135 now.
Yeah.
So imagine you buy a Performante for $350 and then you put another $135 into it. Like, yeah, at that point, it's a bad motherfucker getting low 360 to 130s, but you've got, well over $500,000 into it. Mm-hmm. So.
Or you buy your Performante to go around and get your street cred because you got a Lamborghini.
Yeah.
And then with your UGR money, you go buy a GT500, put all that money into it that we just talked about.
Yeah.
And if you blow the engine, it's only $20,000 more to rebuild that bitch and go out and do it again.
The big question I'm curious of is where the putting the power down is going to lay with, type of tires, temperature, power, all that stuff, and seeing when it warms up here how a good set of Sport Cup 2s or whatever in 85, 90 degree weather, what the limits are,
Yeah, because we do different type of driving. While in my mind and most people's mind, a GT500 or Mustang in general, it's a quarter-mile car.
Yeah.
This car is not set up for the quarter mile. If you look at how they set this car up, it's a road course car.
Yeah.
They built it with the downforce and all that and the aero to go out and take it to your weekend track days and beat the shit out of it and then drive it home. So that ties into how we drive, minus the downforce, because we want more top end. So if we take, I'm guessing our happy medium's not the 900 or the 4.2 60 to 130. I'm going to bet it's the 5.2 to 5.5 60 to 130, which, interestingly enough, is still faster than most supercars out there, other than your tuned 720s, your twin turbo cars. Yeah. And again, I think you could probably do that for around $10,000.
Yeah.
On this car. I've already started getting stuff to take mine to another level, and I'm going to step it up slowly and see. The high-end deal we were talking about was a new supercharger and all this, which I found out today also, that's could be almost a 52-week wait for that supercharger.
Holy shit. For what, the Whipple?
Yeah.
God damn.
Yeah. It's anywhere from 16 to 52 weeks.
What in the fuck? How is there that big a range?
Yeah. It's
like 4 to 12 months.
Yeah.
you can't dial it down even.
It'll be here by 2023. When? By 2023. But again, after talking to two shops, they think all that's going to come back down. Used to, it was 4 to 6 weeks.
Yeah.
You order one, 4 to 6 weeks, you get it. It's coming down. One dude said it took him literally 53 weeks to get one for a 2020.
Wow.
And he said now they're saying I'm in about 20 weeks. So it's coming down slowly.
Yep.
It's a lot of work, garage work, and it's, like I said, it's you and your buddy in a garage for a weekend to do this job. But you can do it. And there's plenty of videos online showing you how to do it. So for $110,000, and we'll just say safely 120. That way you can get your wheels, your tires, your PPF, your miscellaneous bullshit, your new supercharger, and all the goodies with it. $120,000 low mileage car. You're going out and fucking up most supercars because we know this. Most people out there, I would say, out of the people we go around to these meets, hardly any of them do what we do to the cars.
Yeah.
And if they do, there's very few of them that'll race the cars. Mm-hmm. We like having fun with the cars. The beauty of it is this car, I can take it to a road course and fuck around all weekend.
Yeah.
That's the other thing. If we do decide take this to the road course, we don't want too much power because then you're overpowering the courses. So we got to find that happy medium. The beauty is with these setups, you can do multiple tunes. Yeah, it's a pain in the ass. You got to Bluetooth it and change your tune setup, but you can change your pulleys. So you can have this pulley and say this is your road course pulley with road course tune.
Yeah.
This is your drag race pulley with your, and then this is your running around town pulley.
Yeah.
Which is kind of cool that you can do that all for another $600. So it's a neat car, and some of you guys, those of you that supported Clint and listened to his show, got the early sneak peek on what the hell we actually got in. So congratulations. For those of you that were guessing and didn't go over and check out Can You Survive This podcast, you suck.
That's right.
Yeah, go check it out. That's a great podcast. It was good fun. Mike's been on it twice. I've been on it once. It was a lot of fun. Now, we're going to get into this. I don't know how deep you want to get into it.
Balls deep.
Balls deep.
Fucking sack resting on. Wait, what?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I got an email about Hell Week. I put Hell Week issues. There was a death and someone else went to the hospital. Before I text you, I'd read a little bit about it. My wife had actually read up a lot about it. So after I text you, I went and I read 3 different articles. I actually read one from CNN, and believe it or not, CNN wasn't talking shit for once. They were, wanting to. They were pretty much right there with Fox on it, and which is weird to go from like I had to double check the header and like hold the fuck up.
Yeah.
So from what I gathered, and I'm going to say this, then I want your opinion. From what I read, they were done with their training op. It didn't say, one said it had been 4 hours, one didn't, the other 2 I don't think said anything. They just said it was done. The training had been done. One felt ill, and the other one pretty much was in really, really rough shape at the time.
Yeah.
And they went to 2 different hospitals, I believe, too. One ended up passing. I think it's the first time since 2014
Probably.
that someone's passed. And it's tragic. Somebody passed away doing this training. The email I got, I don't agree with the email because the guy's like, oh, it's a bunch of guys bullying these kids and blah, blah, blah.
No, it doesn't have shit to do with anything.
I mean, in all honesty, if I'm training, if I'm seeing somebody train for the position of a Navy SEAL, a SF, any kind of special operations, I want those guys bullied, picked on.
Well, let me clarify a couple things. I mean, first of all, I didn't, maybe, did you send me the email or no?
Yeah, I sent it to you.
Okay. The the whole bullying, hazing thing has nothing to do with it, especially in Hell Week. Like Hell Week is not, there's no element of it that's any traditional hazing. And I will say, I mean, even since I have been out, the amount of hazing that takes place in the military is basically non-existent at this point. So, that's just an ignorant, uneducated, ill-founded comment. But, to me, for anybody to have much more of an opinion than let's see what the autopsy says, or at least have some more amplifying info from the Naval Special Warfare Center schoolhouse itself to say, hey, this is what happened. I mean, there's a million things that could happen. I got a couple of infections during Hell Week that took a few weeks to heal afterwards. Most guys do. There's guys that break limbs. There's guys that get hypothermia. There's guys that go into shock. There's guys that fucking drown. There's so many different things that can happen during Hell Week, and having none of that info for anybody to speculate on what happened or why is just dumb. I don't know why we're talking about it at that level nationally yet. Mm-hmm. Until they release, the cause of death and any things that transpired during that week, there's no reason to have any comment on it. That's why you wait for that shit to come out. I don't know why people can't just fucking chill out and wait to see what happens, but that's my take on it, is there's a million fucking things that could have happened. I don't know. I've gotten a bunch of messages of people saying, what do you think? It's like, I don't think anything until they tell me what happened.
Yeah.
When I was there as an instructor as well as a student, throughout my entire career, we'll say, of the 12 and a half years that I was in, there were multiple times where people died in training. It happens. You're training to go to war at the highest level, and sometimes people die in training. It happens regularly. It's going to continue to happen. You can't mitigate every element of risk or danger in training when you're training to go kill people and fuck shit up, So beyond that, there's really not anything more to say on it. But.
Yeah. And I kind of figured that was going to be your response as we're texting yesterday. Because some of the speculation, again, it's speculation, is the vaccines and blah, blah, blah. But again, we don't know.
Yeah, I've had people ask, like, do you know if, were they vaccinated? Like, fuck, I don't know. Like, and again, to me, like, until there's, an actual autopsy and a cause of death and all of that stuff is performed, to me, to say anything about it other than, it's a tragic loss and I hate to hear that it happened. Mm-hmm. Anything beyond that, I think, is just irresponsible. Like, there's no reason to speculate, because there's too many fucking variables of things that can happen to have any idea unless you were there.
Yeah,
so
exactly. But it's a sad situation anytime we lose someone. We've had it, helicopter crashes, things like that, to where we lose soldiers. It's training. Things happen and it sucks. So I feel bad for the family.
Yeah.
Do we know if the other guy, how he's doing? Is he in?
I have no idea.
Yeah. Last I looked around lunch, and there's no real updates on it. So hopefully he gets better, and we'll see what happens from there. We may never know, in all honesty, but I highly doubt it was hazing 4 hours later or however long later. So let's move on to this next big fun topic of the weekend and week is Joe Rogan dropping the N-word and the government wanting more action against Joe Rogan.
Yeah. So, there's a couple problems here. Number one is that the context with which he used it, at least from my understanding, I could be wrong, I'll caveat it with that, but is that it was always in referencing people using it or, not just him just casually dropping it. But to me, it's one of those things where, my take on that kind of across the board is that's one of those things. It's either okay or it's not okay. If it's okay for anybody to say it, then that's what it is, right? Is that if you truly want equality, like, don't separate things based on race. And that's a classic example. And I've had this discussion with people. That's just how I think about it. Now, you're going to catch me using it? No, you won't, but that doesn't mean that my opinion on it isn't the same in that, like, if something bothers you that bad, don't use it, on the transverse. Like, if there's a bunch of people that are going to use it. Don't ostracize and cancel and fucking fillet open other people for doing the same thing. I mean, to me, that's how you breed resentment in a society, is to separate things based on race. Like we've already made that mistake as a society. I don't know why we continue to do it. You see it with, the historically all black colleges of, or even other universities that, that are making like segregated safe spaces based on race and housing requirements or housing accommodations based on race and things of that nature. And I just think that's such a what the fuck step backwards in our society to do stuff like that. And further, if you're going to hold Joe Rogan accountable for it, then you should hold everybody accountable for it. There's been a bunch of other people. And again, I don't agree with if you're black, you can say it and get a total pass, but if you're white, you get, fucking thrown under the bus. But Joe Biden is on camera using it. Fucking Howard Stern is on camera using it. There's a bunch of other white people that have been on camera and gotten a fucking pass because of how they are politically. And to me, like that's just further even bullshit. Like if you're going to have a problem with it, have a problem with it with everybody. If you're not going to have a problem with it, then you can't pick and choose and say it's okay for you but not you. And like, to me that the whole thing is just reflective of how off track our society has gotten with making certain things so toxically divisive between race that it just, man, it distracts everybody from a lot of what's really going on and creates fucking problems that just don't need to be there.
So I want to play devil's advocate because everyone always thinks I agree with Mike on everything.
Yeah.
So I disagree. No, let's take that race coin and let's flip it. Because in the same week, we had Whoopi Goldberg with the Holocaust stuff pretty much say the Holocaust wasn't anything about race and y'all are idiots.
Yeah.
And she just got a 2-week suspension. Yeah, everybody's calling for Joe Rogan's head for stuff happened long, long ago.
Yeah.
And he's using it in context to a story or proper context. Everything I've seen on it was never him saying it in a bad way.
Yeah.
What she did was, in my mind, keep in mind this is my opinion, it's not a fact. What she did was way worse than what he did, and she did it on friggin' national TV.
Like live recently.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, to me, so here again, I mean, I was on the Patrick Bet-David podcast here last week, for those of you that didn't watch it, and I actually talk about this in depth. We talked about Whoopi and the whole fucking controversy surrounding it. And to me, like, that kind of opinion of like, that's worse than what he did, whatever, to me, all of that is subjective. And that's why it's, in my opinion, impossible to use magnitudes of offensiveness as your measuring stick for how much trouble you get into.
Yeah.
To me, like, it's all or nothing. Like, either you can say whatever the fuck you want, no matter how big of a problem anybody has with it or how offended this group is or not. Like, it's either all fucking cool or none of it is cool. There's no in between, because otherwise, again, it's like, well, if that bothers you, then you can't say it. But that doesn't bother me, but this bothers me. It's like, now it's this whack-a-mole game of who said what and who offended who, and like, that's not a fucking society. It's goddamn sure not a free society. And so freedom is all inclusive. It's all encompassing. Like, it can't just be for the things that I'm not offended by or only mildly offended by or you are or he is or anybody else. Like, it's all or nothing, and that's how it has to be. And that's why, like, this is never going to solve anything, because it's inconsistent. It's like, this guy can say it, but that guy can't. He can say it because it was in this context, but he can't. Like, that takes, number one, it breeds resentment within society, but it also takes a lot of the teeth out of the actual offensiveness and makes it look more like feigned or faux outrage that's based on political points or trying to fuck somebody over because, whatever position they're in. I mean, again, it's like, this was said years ago, and now all of a sudden somebody has a problem with it because Joe Rogan is getting 10x viewers than the entire network of CNN, and they don't know what to do about it, and so they're grasping at straws. I mean, it's shit like that. It's like, to have a problem with it now years later, I think speaks volumes to, given what else is going on. And it just makes you look like a petulant fucking child doing stuff like that. I just don't get it.
Mm-hmm. And we've talked about this shit and tons of episodes of Uninfluenced about a word and its power and where it can go. And that's why I started off with, in my opinion, I think they're, what the fuck?
It's coughing while I'm taking a drink.
I think, in all honesty, like you said, if we're going to be free, we got to be free and not pick and choose. I mean, that's like me going to church on Sunday, and then as soon as I leave church, I drop GD.
Yeah.
Because I got forgiveness, in which I do say GD a lot, and I apologize, dear Lord.
No, you don't.
No, not really. But in all honesty, you can't pick this word and this saying and hate these, but you're okay with this. It's like I was telling Rohan earlier today. Back when we were growing up, our parents, funnest thing they used to do is take pictures of us in the bathtub playing with, you're in there with your brothers, and there wasn't nothing wrong.
Yeah.
It's not like you're sitting there fucking doing anything sexual, or your parents it's a cute time of you with your kid.
You do it at your age now with your brothers, and now it's a problem.
It's awkward now. Yeah. But I mean,
still fun.
You take that same thing now though, and you take a picture of your baby, boy or girl, in the bathtub.
They haven't decided yet what they are.
Yeah, you take a picture of them, but it's just one of them.
Yeah.
You take a picture of them in the bathtub, playing, having a good time. You're not showing the privates, but because it's a girl and you see this that hasn't even developed yet, child pornography, he needs to go to jail.
Yeah.
It's like we're so fucked up wanting to cancel everything.
Yeah, but then there's, adults that actually physically rape kids that get fucking 18 months in probation or whatever. And,
some bullshit.
It's just such a backwards, twisted fucking society that we live in, again, that makes such a big deal out of some things and nothing, no deal out of other things.
Yeah, it's pick and choose what you want to complain about and then complain about it.
Selective outrage.
Just be like me and complain about every fucking thing, and then you're golden.
That's right.
Yeah, so there's always that. But yeah, the society's really, really fucked up. What the hell? It's pick and choose what the hell we get to do and not do nowadays.
Yeah. I speaking of that podcast, I do want to kind of short half review the SF90. I don't know if we want to do it now or a different.
No, I was going to bring that up, and then
because I can post the videos of me driving it. They're all right with that. So
yeah, Rohan.
Yes, sir.
Put those videos in right here.
So the SF90. So I finally got to drive one, and just a big shout out and thank you to Patrick Bet David for letting me drive his. To me, there are so few people on the planet that conduct themselves as he does in all of the best ways possible. It just I was really kind of blown away by his hospitality, both on the show and And afterwards, as we wrapped up the show, we were standing up, they were done recording, and I said, all right, it's time to drive the SF90. And he kind of chuckled and was like, wait, what? And he's like, you want to drive it? And I was like, well, fuck yeah, I want to drive it. I said, more than anything, I just want to know three main things, which is there a huge difference between performance and qualifying? Because once you're in qualifying, you only have that full beans, all it has for a few minutes before you have to go back into performance. So if you gun it in performance and gun it in qualifying mode, like, is there a huge difference between the two? The second question was from a pulling power standpoint. When you hit 124 miles an hour, the front electric motors that power the front wheels to make it all-wheel drive when it's going off the line and under 125 miles an hour, those disengage, and now you only have a rear-wheel drive, rear-powered car. So if you punch it at 110 and punch it at 130, do you notice a big difference pulling power-wise between those two of not having the front electric motors? The last thing is that from a handling standpoint is because it weighs 700-800 pounds more than, say, the Pista or the GTB, or it's even heavier than the 812, I believe. Do you know what the 812 weighs?
The 812 weighs, shit, I'll look
it up. But the SF90 is says it weighs like 3,600, but Brooks weighed it and it weighed 3,900. It weighs almost 4,000 fucking pounds, so it's a lot heavier. And I wanted to know how it handled, changing lanes and going around cars up at 160, 170, et cetera. And when I asked him those three questions, he's like, fuck, I don't know, go drive it and tell me. And just like that, like, he wasn't even there for it. He asked his assistant, he said, hey, take Mike to the house, start the fucking car up and let him drive it. And so we did. Takes me to his house and we start the car up and I get in it and drive. I put about 80 fucking miles on it. Drove it for the better part of an hour, got on, was it 95, Interstate 95, went, 35, 40 miles north and fucking turned around and came back and hit, was pushing 170 in it and tested all the things that I wanted to test. And, for a guy that, I've met him a couple of times, but it's not like we're close friends or anything. For him to trust me to do that, says quite a bit about him and his character. It was really, really neat to experience that. But now my thoughts on the car. It's a phenomenal car. I would say it's as fast of a car as I've ever driven it. I mean, it felt speed-wise, especially down low, comparable to the R8 when it was twin turbo doing low 4-second 60 to 130s. It has that kind of violent speed down low, just an absurd amount of power. And I think even though it's not quite as fast, it's not far off of that speed-wise overall in most power bands, but it is not as fast. But because it's those electric motors with instant fucking torque, it just gives you that feeling of faster than it is, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. From a handling standpoint, you definitely notice the weight, the width. It just does not feel quite as nimble as a rear-wheel drive 3,000-pound car, and fuck, it shouldn't. It weighs way more, and it's all-wheel drive. It kind of stands to reason. It does feel a lot more refined, not just the interior being nicer and leather and kind of more up to date and mostly electronic, touch screen fucking dials and everything else. Just the overall kind of emotion that you get, say when you get into the Pista, it feels like you're getting into a go-kart race car. Like, just everything about it kind of gives you a lot of emotion, and sound and feeling and everything else. There's not as much of that in the SF90. It's not as loud exhaust note. It's kind of a disappointing exhaust note. When you're really getting into it, it sounds pretty decent, which you'll hear in the videos. But just kind of driving around town, it's a lot quieter than the Pista, which has its pros and cons. If you're coming from a neighborhood and it's busy and whatever, then that's kind of nice. If you want the emotion and raw sound, then it's not so nice. But I did find that the handling and just kind of the overall connection to the road for me, and again, I'm going to be a little bit biased because I've got 9,000 and change miles in a Pista and I've got 80 in an SF90, so there's a pretty big disparity there. But but I've spent enough time in both, and I was allowed to drive it how I wanted to drive it enough to be able to comfortably say that I would put them pretty much neck and neck in terms of how fun they are to drive, just in different ways. If I had to boil it down to your one fucking goal is just to enjoy the driving experience, I would still take the Piste over the SF90. If I was racing somebody from spot A to spot B, I would take the SF90. It's gonna be faster. It just is. The all-wheel drive and that amount of power of almost 300 horsepower more, even with the extra weight, it's just faster. It feels faster. It is faster. And it's an absolute beast of a fucking car. Is it worth twice what the Piste is? To me, it's not. I also don't have the same kind of money that he has to be able to buy both if I wanted. So it was a really, really neat experience. I'm forever grateful to Pat and his team for hooking me up and letting me do that. And sharing the videos, taking the videos and letting me post and talk about it, and just being so kind of upfront and forthcoming with the hospitality, with being able to do so. So really, really cool experience. I know a couple other guys, or have met a couple other guys that have them. They sure as fuck weren't offering for me to drive it without them even being there however I wanted. So, again, kudos to Pat, super good dude, and it was a really neat experience.
Yeah, I wouldn't have let this motherfucker drive my car. I'm just kidding. 3593, 812.
Oh, okay. So I wonder if that's what its actual weight is, though, because the SF90 is advertised. I mean, maybe look it up too, but I think it's like 3,600. But when Brooks weighed it with drag times, it was almost 4,000 fucking pounds. So
let's see real quick. I wonder if they're posting dry weight too.
Yeah, I mean, maybe. I know Ferrari kind of historically is not great about accurate weights, is that they're usually, a couple hundred pounds.
How much did Brooks say it weighed?
Like 3,900.
This has to be dry weight then, because on here, on Ferrari's website, 3,461.
Yeah, I mean, Google drag times SF90 weight. I can swear it was like 3,900 fucking pounds. I could be fucked up, but I thought that's what it was.
No, you're pretty good at that shit. I mean, he's proven quite a few weights wrong.
McLaren historically is right on or even less than what they advertise, especially with their horsepower.
So I have up the Ferrari SF90 Stradale specs. Curb weight is anywhere from...
Did he just interrupt us?
Number one, we already got those. We're looking at the actual weight that Brooks from Drag Times actually weighed the car, and it was a lot more than what they advertise on Ferrari's spec sheet.
Gotcha. No, this just gave a range. That's what I wanted to tell you guys.
Yeah, I'll give you a fucking range.
Yeah, range of D's nuts. I'll have to watch a video because it's on a video that he did it.
Yeah, you can sift through that while we're talking, Rohan. Figure out the dry or the actual weight that Brooks from Drag Times got in. When he put it on his scales at home.
I think, are you referring to the fastest lap one, Rohan, where there's like a 400 pound difference?
Yeah.
Yeah, it says 3,461, which
380,
is
38.
38.
Yeah.
I bet you that's what Brooks' weight was, 38.
Probably.
Because fastest lap always refers a lot of stuff over to Brooks.
So, yeah, I guess, 38 still.
That's still almost 39.
It's 400 pounds heavier than what they advertise. And 400 pounds is very noticeable in cars like that, and again, like the Piste is down around 3,100. So you're looking at, a 700 pound difference, and you're looking at 280 horsepower difference, so it evens it out quite a bit. When you go rear wheel drive, a little louder exhaust. Strangely enough, there were times, excuse me.
That's them AIDS.
The high five. when where it actually didn't feel as responsive as I thought it would. Not that it felt laggy or slow. It's just there were a couple times where I was like, man, it seems like the Piste, when you jump on it and it kicks down, especially at higher speeds, it for me, it feels like the Piste actually responds faster, which it shouldn't.
I watched a video where someone was talking about that, and the only way they could fix that was tuning.
Yeah.
Holy shit. Brooks was 39.38.
Yeah, I mean, and like I said, you can feel it. You know, I mean, if you were to drive, I'd love to drive them back to back. But even talking with both guys that we know that have had both of them said the same thing.
Yeah,
is that, you know, if you're going like the SF90 is a faster car, no two ways about it.
Yeah,
you know, but in terms of actual enjoyment of driving and all of that, it's just a more fun car to drive. So, you know, take any other car. I mean, take a car that. Let's say you take the SF90, which weighs 3,900, and drive something that weighs 4,900. Like, you're going to notice a big fucking difference between those two. So
here's a cool comparison, because you had just got back. Did you get it?
No, I didn't.
Because you had just got back. You drove a 4,100-pound car not too long after.
Yeah. And,
how was the handling on that?
Surprisingly good. You know, I mean, it feels big and heavy, but not in a way that takes away from the enjoyment of the driving of the car.
Like pickup truck heavy? No,
I mean, I was really blown away by how well that GT500 is to drive. You know, I mean, yes, it's bigger and heavier and doesn't have the steering and handling that a 911 or a 720 or a Pista has, but it's not so far off to where you'd say, well, this sucks to drive. Like, it's still as fun to drive, just in a very different way.
Yeah. Okay, so we're going to close this one off. But before we go, I want to tell you guys something. In the description below, we're going to start doing Mondays where we just answer questions. In the description below, there's an email. It's ask.uninfluenced@gmail.com. Ask us questions. Questions like relationship advice, kids, business.
Does size matter?
Basically, ask us anything. Then we're going to weed through it week to week and answer these questions, and it's going to be a little hour of question and answers. So a little hint, this Monday we already have some questions we're going to go through next, and you'll get to see those this coming Monday. So from now on, Uninfluenced will be Mondays and Wednesdays, and then Fridays. Guess what? Should we even tell them?
Yeah,
we should tell them, right?
Fucking tell them.
Mondays, Uninfluenced, answering questions. Wednesday, Uninfluenced normal, what you just got today. Fridays, mic drop.
Every Friday.
I
mean, most Fridays. There's probably going to be some that we miss, but we're going to be trying to get a mic drop episode out every Friday. Now, I want to caveat that with I have held out as long as I fucking can to not do Zoom interviews. But the fact is, the last fucking 2 years, our society has become Zoom oriented, and there are a lot of people that just won't fucking come here that are worth interviewing. As much as I want to get them to sit on the fucking casting couch and stain that motherfucker up like the rest of them, the reality of it is that a lot of them just won't fucking come. So we're going to do more interviews. Some of them are going to be via Zoom. I will do my goddamnedest to still make it intimate. Without taking our pants off, or maybe even we will. I don't know, but we'll do our best to keep the interviews good and solid and hard hitting and all that. But we are going to start doing some virtually that way. So
what we could do, if we start getting a really good budget, I can sit here. We can just keep Rohan in a green suit, and he sits on the couch. Then we virtually move the guest to the couch.
That's right. Fucking A.
Yeah,
let's do it.
Yeah.
So of course, we told you that now, so we blew it.
Yeah,
we ruined it.
We fucked that up. So there y'all go. We've been kind of hinting around for the past couple months on changes coming. These are the changes coming. So that's all on the podcast side of it, but we're still going to get into another series we're working on that's just on YouTube for Uninfluenced, and it's our normal car reviews and stuff like that. It won't take away from any of the podcasts. It's basically just us being us on the weekends. Nothing new. So that's it, guys. Tune in Monday. Same bat channel, same bat time. Different day, bitch. Okay, peace.